Hello, this is Brooks Whittington with halfwheel.com. Today we're taking a look at the Red Horse KnifeWorks Condor cigar cutter. Red Horse has been around a while, and it makes all sorts of knives of various shapes and sizes. Actually founded by Edward Kim, who is a former MMA competitor as well as a former private security contractor. But the Condor specifically is a very high quality cutter made of very high quality titanium with blades also made of German Bowler M390 steel, which is a very convoluted way of saying that it's extremely high quality. In fact, so high quality that the cutter can go about 1,500 cuts without being sharpened again, according to the company. Also, the cutter uses ceramic ball bearings instead of steel ball bearings, which is one of the reasons that this cutting action you see here is so smooth, also lasts longer. So it should last quite a while once you buy it. It was actually the cutter itself is 3.25 inches long, so not very long at all, and only 2.1 ounces, probably because of that titanium. Very light in your hand, very smooth action cutting it. It is a modified single blade guillotine cutter. As you can tell, works kind of like scissors, backward scissors. And it actually comes in 3 different versions at the moment. There's a black one, which this is. There's a green one, which replaces this black piece here with a green one, obviously. And there's a carbon fiber version, which replaces that with a carbon fiber version. All 3 of them are exactly the same. It's just the difference is this piece here, this insert here. And so after using this cutter for about 5 weeks on every cigar that I reviewed and smoked, I can tell you some things about it very quickly. First of all is the fact that this is a very well machined, very well made cutter. Very high quality in terms of the materials. Obviously a lot of time was taken in the design aspect of it. It's light, it's easy to carry around, it's pretty cool looking. And it has another function that I'll get to in a minute. So there's no problems with the actual construction of the cutter itself and how it works. This thing is not going to fall apart on you anytime soon, I can assure you. But the actual cutting of the cigars did lead to some issues. And the first issue that I ran into when I was actually cutting the cigars was this piece right here. If you see this here, it's pretty inconspicuous, but it actually causes some fairly significant issues for me. I have a pretty big thumb, and if you put your finger through here and then push down on this cutter here, as you see, the actual thumb catches right there. Every single time that I use this cutter, that happens. I can mitigate it a little bit by pushing down on the actual piece here so that it doesn't go through there. But it does definitely have to be something I have to think about as opposed to just putting the cigar cutter in my hands and using it. One of the cool things when you're actually cutting cigars is this piece here. The company has actually built that there specifically, apparently, to give you some more stability. You push this finger here. Let me move this here. There you go. This finger here puts that here, and it gives you more stability when you're pushing through. It does actually work very, very well, the way it was intended. Now, actually cutting the cigar, we can actually go through this. There is another problem as you're actually cutting the cigar. The problem is that you can barely see how much of this cap you're actually taking off. And so you have to kind of guesstimate a little bit. But you put this into the hole, you push this through, you want to make it as perpendicular as possible, and then you push down and push right through. Now, as you can see, the cut is actually clean. But there is another problem in that the actual wrapper has a little bit of damage here. This unfortunately is not unusual. In fact, it happened on about 75% of the cigars that I cut with this cutter. Some of the damage was minimal, some of it was more specific and larger, but it happened quite a bit. This one, for example, you can see the wrapper actually is coming off just a little bit based on where I cut it. Now, the cut, as I said, is clean. It's a very clean cut, but that wrapper had damage on quite a few of the cigars that I cut with it. It didn't matter what size it was or anything of that nature. For the most part, it has problems with cutting these and damaging the wrappers itself. However, having said that, there is another cool thing about it that some people may like and some people may not like, and that is the fact that the caps are actually caught inside the cutter here. And so when you're actually done with it, the cap's not going anywhere. You actually have to open it up and fish it out and drop it wherever you want to drop it. So I actually am not a big fan of that, because I have to actually do that every time instead of actually deciding, cutting the cutter, it comes out and that's the end of it. Now you have to actually open it up and actually make sure there's no more pieces inside and that kind of thing. One more cool thing about it that it came in handy quite a bit actually is the fact that this is actually a bottle opener as well. You can see this little lip here, and this actually can be used as a bottle opener. And so you actually use this here, and you can actually take a bottle, and you can actually take this, whoop, wrong side, haha, take this, and you can actually open that bottle there. It actually lips right here, you can see, and you just open that from there. I'm not going to open it because I don't need a beer at the moment, but you can easily do it. It works like a charm, and it's really nice to have as you carry these things around. It's nice to have something like this that works so well in that regard. That's something that you need a bottle opener, it can have it for you. So in the end, can I recommend the Red Horse Knife Works Condor cigar cutter? The answer is no. It's very well machined. It's very, very well built. It's actually fun to use because of how smooth it is. It's a joy to carry, but in terms of actual cutting, it fails almost every time. A little bit sometimes, a lot sometimes, but you just cannot depend on it to cut clean every single time without damage to the actual wrapper itself. Then you throw in the cost of $285, and you've got yourself an expensive cutter that very rarely performs the way that it should.